Here at the West Coast Franchise Expo for Money Live at the shows, I'm Alan Taylor. We're checking out what's going on at this show for you, Melanie Bergeron.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Tell us about this. Moving, right?
Yes, we have a really neat family story. The company was founded by my mom, Mary Ellen Sheets, in the early 80s in Lansing, Michigan.
How cool
and
is
the
that?
first two men were my brothers, Brig and John Sorber. They were 15 and 17 years old at the time.
Love it.
The interesting thing is our first truck was a 67 Ford pickup truck. And they basically hauled trash for people in the pickup. My mom was a single working mother at the time, and she wanted them to make more spending money. So she said, let's scrape together some money and put an ad in the paper. That's what they did. And the calls came rushing in. But people didn't want their trash moved. They wanted their households moved. And my mom, in good conscience, knew she couldn't move households in that old pickup truck. So she spent $350 and bought an old used bread delivery truck. The business just started growing from there.
I love it because if you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, a single mom, a couple of kids, put those kids to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and now it's a franchise business, and you're the chairman of the board.
And I was also her first franchisee.
How nice.
So back then I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. My mom calls, Mel, you've got to start a two men in a truck. And I went, well, I'm in pharmaceutical sales. Why would I want a moving business? And she said, just try it. Let's do this. But even then, I thought moving business had a stigma to it. People want to hire a mover. They don't necessarily want to be a mover. But I was a franchisee, and I learned the lesson that moving is way more than moving items from point A to point B. When people are moving, it's usually during a traumatic point in their lives. Unfortunately, it's usually a divorce, a death in the family, downsizing, and even if it's a happy event, upsizing or a marriage, it's still very, very stressful. So what I learned is by getting a truck to the location with guys in uniform, and they're very pleasant, and work with the customer, we can really, two men in a truck can really take the stress out of their move. And the movers feel like heroes for the customer.
Yeah. All right, so let's say we want to get involved here. I want to do this. It sounds like easy enough for me. What's the entry?
The cost is $50,000 for a franchise. That's our initial franchise fee. And then you basically need between $150,000 and $300,000 for the startup. So it's pretty low. We don't have inventory. You don't need a large building. You need parking space for your trucks. So we ask that you start off with two trucks. Thankfully, the brand recognition is really good. We have over 200 locations in the U.S. And our average franchisee grosses $1.3 million a year. I can say that because it's in our franchise disclosure document. We have a less than 1% failure rate. And I want to tell you the thing we're most proud of. One of our core values is giving back to the community. And collectively, we have given over $16 million back to nonprofits.
Wow.
So we have great training. We do look for people that have one of 4 business skills. You either need to know sales, marketing, finance, or operations, and you have to understand hiring against your weaknesses. From there, we have an interview process, and a lot of it is talking to you about customer scenarios, because we want to make sure the candidate has our same core values, because we are in the people business. Yeah. You have to have a caring attitude.
I love it. I love it. 2 men in a truck. Too easy.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. And they're 1.3 million is the average yearly. I've got kids. Maybe this is good for me, right?
Absolutely. And a nice thing about being in the trucking industry, people moving industry, it's scalable. So when you're a franchisee or you, if you're comfortable with the 2 trucks and you're ready to grow and you want to make more money, you add a truck. You're ready to grow, you add a truck. You don't have to buy another location. You just keep adding trucks. So I think this is the perfect business for your boys. All
right, well, there you go. 2 men in a truck. I love it. That's the kind of stuff that is here at the West Coast Franchise Expo. I'm Alan Taylor. Thank you very much once again. And we'll be back with more Money Live from the shows.